Welcome to the Introverts Toolbox, the podcast where we celebrate the quiet power of introverts and explore tools to help you thrive while staying true to your authentic self. I'm Karen Hewitt, and today we're going to dive into a topic that has been on many of our minds: how to navigate a rough political climate as an introvert. Let's get real. Political tensions can be overwhelming no matter where you stand. And as introverts, we process things deeply, absorbing the emotions around us, and we can struggle with the pressure to engage in heated discussions. So, whether it's debates at family gatherings, social media overload, or just the stress of the uncertainty, navigating politics can be mentally and emotionally exhausting. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to set your boundaries around those political conversations, how to stay informed without feeling emotionally drained, an introvert's guide to advocacy without the burnout, managing relationships with people who have different political views, and ways to protect your mental and emotional energy in tense times. By the end of this episode, I hope to give you some basically practical tools to stay sane, protect your energy, and navigate political stress in a way that works for you. Let's start with why politics can feel very overwhelming for introverts. First, we process so deeply. Unlike extroverts who may discuss, they may debate and move on quickly, introverts have a tendency to reflect on issues for a very long time. And this can make political topics feel mentally exhausting. We absorb emotions. Many introverts are highly empathic or highly sensitive people, meaning we don't just hear that political news, we feel it. The anger, the fear, the frustration in the world can easily seep into our own energy. We dislike conflict. Heated political debates can feel overwhelming, especially when they involve loud voices, interruptions, and emotional intensity. There's a lot of social pressure to engage, whether it's pressure to speak up on social media, defend your views in conversations. Introverts can often feel caught between wanting to contribute and wanting to protect their peace. So here's the thing. You don't have to engage with political discourse in the same way everyone else does. You get to decide how and when to participate. So let's talk about setting boundaries. One of the biggest challenges introverts face is navigating unexpected or unwanted political conversations, whether that could be at work, family gatherings, or social settings. And here's how to handle them. First, we have a redirect method. If someone brings up politics and you don't want to engage, redirect the conversation smoothly. That's an interesting perspective. Speaking of news, did you hear about and bring up some neutral topic? Change the conversation completely. Or you can even say, I would rather not get into politics today, but I would love to hear what you've been up to. You can do the soft exit strategy. If conversation turns heated, give yourself permission to step away. I just need a break from all the political talk today. I'm here to relax and enjoy the company. Or, I can respect everyone's views, but I am going to bow out of this one. You do not owe anyone a debate. Your peace matters. On social media, political discussions can be draining, especially for introverts. So here's how to protect yourself. Limit doom scrolling. Set yourself a time limit for consuming political content. Curate your feed. Unfollow or mute accounts that create anxiety. Avoid comment wars. You do not have to engage in every debate. Sometimes silence can be pretty loud. It is important to stay informed. But how do you do it without feeling completely overwhelmed? Well, set up a news schedule. Don't check it all the time every day. Pick one or two times to catch up. It's going to prevent that news overload. Choose fact-based sources. Avoid sensationalized or fear-driven media. Stick to reputable sources that focus on facts over emotional triggers. I know personally, I have a couple of favorites. Um, I absolutely love Under the Desk News. They have nothing to do with this with me, but I find that they present it very factually and calmly. That's just me personally. Find the one that works for you. Balance it out. If you're consuming political content, balance it with uplifting content. Listen to music, read a book, spend time in nature, do things that work for you. Be mindful of conversations. Not every political discussion requires your energy. Ask yourself, is this engaging in this discussion helpful or is it just stressful? Am I in the right headspace to have this conversation? It is okay to take a step back. Staying informed does not mean that you have to constantly consume political content. If you do want to be involved in political or social issues and causes, you do not have to do it in a loud, extroverted way. There's a few ways we can do making a difference without being burned out. I'm an introvert and I am involved in things that matter to me, but I do things differently because I could go on social media right now and I could post some of my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. I've said a couple of things in social medias, but I've said them very respectfully, and I've had some pretty hateful things said back to me. But here's some ways that you can do it without having that burnout. So you can use your writing skills, write emails to lawmakers, contribute to newsletters, or share thoughtful posts instead of engaging in debates. You can volunteer in quiet ways. Advocacy isn't not just rallies and protests. You can research, organize, and support behind the scenes. One of the things I do, I work on a nonprofit board that means so much to me, and I get to give back, but I'm not singing and dancing and doing all the rah rah all the time. I get to protect my peace too. Donate to causes that you believe in. If direct activism isn't too overwhelming, supporting organizations financially is a way to contribute. You can have one-on-one conversations. If you feel strongly about an issue, small, meaningful conversations can be more impactful than public debates. Advocacy does not have to be loud. Quiet efforts still create change. One of the hardest parts, though, of a tense political climate is dealing with people. This could be friends, family, or coworkers who have very different beliefs. I'm going to get kind of personal here. I will not tolerate any hate or attacks on any of my platforms, including this one. And I have seen so many people be hateful and attacking, and then so many people that are scared and worried. And there's just a lot of division right now. And I want you to feel equipped to handle things in a way that strengthens your soul and your heart, so that way you don't have negative impact as much as possible. So hopefully you can take these ways to handle it and it helps boost you in some way. So one, decide what matters. Ask yourself, is a relationship actually worth maintaining? Some differences can be managed. Others may require distance. Again, I'm going to get very personal here. I had a conflict with somebody and I had to remove them from my life, and it was a political stance because their political stance was pretty much anti who I was, and the way they were talking about this community of individuals, it broke my heart. And I even said, you realize that's my community? It's, well, but you're different. It's like, no, because the things you were picking on that you did not like applied to all of us. And if you do not know, I'll be straight up here. I am queer. I am neurodiverse. I am an introvert. I am pro-human life, as in all lives matter, trans lives matter, Black lives matter. I am pro-diversity. I am very much so, let's have the world be better by us working together and building together. Sorry, got a little personal there. I want you to agree to disagree on some things. If the relationship is important, because sometimes there is, I have spoken to many people who've said, well, my parents, my sister, my brother, my child is saying this. If that relationship is still important, but it's politically divided, set a boundary. Go, hey, we may not see eye to eye on this. This may not be in agreement with each other. I respect you as a human, as a person. So can we just focus on what we have in common and not discuss this aspect anymore? If you feel that that relationship is important enough that you can put that aside and keep the relationship, but not have the boundary, if that is not a piece of that, you can do that. And if they refuse, well, then you need to consider the boundary more. I want you to limit your exposure to toxic people. If people drain you with their political rants, it is okay to set boundaries or reduce contact. There's this beautiful thing on social media, and I'm going to teach you a quick trick. On the meta platforms, there is a way that instead of blocking or unfollowing or unfriending people, you can snooze them for 30 days. So if how their behavior and speaking, posting is bothering you right now because it's such a tough social climate, you can pause them for 30 days. So that way, while it's heightened, you have, create that division. But once it comes back 30 days later, if it is still heightened, it's still having that division, you can re-look at that situation. You can make that decision like, is this something I want to do? Because what I don't want you to do, again, I'm speaking personally here, and I know that I am going to get some people give me crap for this on this podcast, and I'm okay with that. If you unfriend somebody, unblock them and say, okay, you're done because you're talking all this and it's absolutely everything I disagree with. If you know me, you know which side or where I stand. And then you've unfriended them, you've blocked them, you've got rid of them out of your life. And 10 days after now, they're like, oh, hang on, I was just listening to something Karen was talking to me about conversation and communication and or whatever. And I'm seeing her point of view now. I think I need to have a actual discussion about why I feel the way I do and why she feels the way you do. And maybe I can meet in the middle, or maybe they even say, dang it, I was wrong. I thought it meant this, it actually means this. And oh, yeah, I saw that one wrong. And if they try and come back to you after that and you've blocked them, they then feel isolated. And I don't want to make people feel isolated. And if your boundary is that they're at the point where you have to, that's to protect your peace. For me personally, I've snoozed for 30 days because I do believe people have the opportunity to see differently and maybe grow from a situation. But they're allowed their opinions, they're allowed their thoughts. They just don't have to have those opinions and thoughts in my life. Lastly, I want you to protect your peace. Not every argument needs a response. You can disengage without guilt. And one of my favorites is they won't let me just walk away or say, hey, just not conversation today. I go, I see what's important to you. I need to go and I'll talk to you later. And they're like, oh, well, wait. Because the reason I do that is because I've acknowledged that it is something that's important to them. It may not be the same thoughts as me, but it makes sometimes can make them think, why is she saying important to me and not important to everyone? Because a lot of the time, people who are on the far side of a political argument feel like their thoughts are the same as everyone else's. And that can actually cause a momentary thought to why is this being said? Navigating a tense political climate is hard. It really is. There has been times in the last, I'm going to say 60 days, depending on when you hear this, it's probably been longer, especially for introverts who feel deeply and process emotions internally. And I have felt so many emotions and so much stress and so much anguish. And I completely understand that you may have too. I do want you to remember something, and I've had to remind myself this. You do not have to engage in every political debate. You are allowed to set boundaries about what conversations you participate in. You can stay informed without sacrificing your mental health. Like I said, find a way to get the news in a balanced way that is good for you. We do need to know what is going on in the world, but it does not need to dictate every moment of our life. Your quiet voice still matters, even if you express your thoughts differently. I'm choosing to be a little louder about this today rather than my normal introverted self because the world does need both loud and voices and quiet thinkers. But this has caused so much division and so much stress. I wanted my quiet thoughts to become louder so you didn't feel alone and you didn't feel hurt and betrayed because the mental load is getting to you. Your role in the conversation, whatever that looks like, is valuable. You, as a human being, are valuable. You are loved. I want you to take care of your energy and protect your peace. And remember, how you engage with this world is completely in your control. I want to thank you for tuning into the Introverts Toolbox. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message, share your favorite takeaway on social media. And if you haven't, please subscribe and leave a review. It does help other introverts find the tools they need to thrive. And until next time, take care, honor your energy, and keep building your toolbox.